Starting out as skinny fat, I used to be convinced it was pretty much impossible for me to get abs and build muscle. And after wasting over 3 years in the gym, this was my physique. I just couldn't get my body to look the way I wanted it to. Because the skinny fat dilemma is one of the hardest to solve. You're not lean enough to look athletic, but you're not big enough to look muscular. You've got the worst of both worlds. But eventually, I switched my approach and everything changed for me. I finally cracked the code to go from skinny fat to shredded, and have since helped hundreds of men do the same. So today, in this video, I'm gonna show you exactly how to fix the skinny fat dilemma in 5 steps. And the good news is, it's actually way simpler than you think. Now, my name is Akash, and this channel is about one thing: helping busy professionals get lean, healthy, and in shape for life, without extremes. I've spent the last decade helping over 4,000 men and women in over 30 countries get into the best physical and mental shape of their lives, whilst building their businesses, careers, and families. If you're new here, hit the subscribe button and let's dive in. Step 1 of fixing the skinny fat dilemma is to reset and get lean first. This goes against what most people think, but if you're skinny fat, the first step is to get lean. Once you get lean, you know where you're at with low levels of body fat, and now you can start building. Back when I first started training, I was 17, 58 kilos or 127 pounds, skinny fat with moobs and a pot belly. I thought the answer was to bulk like crazy, so I did the classic go mad diet, a gallon of milk a day, plus mountains of pasta and tinned fish. I gained 4 kilos in a month, and all of it, unfortunately, was fat. My skin broke out, I felt bloated, and I looked worse, way worse. And that's when I realized you can't out-eat a bad foundation. You've got to get lean first. Now, you don't need to get bodybuilder shredded, but you do need to trim down enough to see some ab lines, definition in your obliques, and to lower your body fat to around 10 to 12%. Your body is so much more sensitive to growth when you're lean to begin with. If you start bulking at 20% body fat, you'll only start gaining even more body fat. At this stage, your body is very efficient at getting fatter and fatter. So it'll not only frustrate you even more, but force you into dieting anyway. You end up becoming a bigger, skinny fat version of the old self. Soft, bloated, and very demotivated. Instead, when you're lean, your gains will be far more productive. Your body is now sensitive for growth, with your key muscle building hormones like testosterone optimized. Additionally, your insulin sensitivity will be higher. This is a measure of how receptive your cells are to insulin, which allows things like glucose, creatine, and amino acids to enter the cell. By increasing your insulin sensitivity, your muscle cells are now able to better bind with insulin and allow muscle building nutrients inside. This combination of heightened testosterone and insulin sensitivity means your body is now more primed to build muscle. It's also far more efficient. For every pound you gain when lean, a higher percentage of it will be muscle and a lower percentage will be fat. And this is the big reason why it's so important to be lean before bulking. Getting lean also gives you what I call a muscle building buffer. The reality is you're gonna gain some body fat during your later building phase. So this gives you more of a range to play with before needing any adjustments or getting too fat. Step 2 is to rebuild, where you eat to grow without getting too fat. Once you're lean, it's time to build. But here's where most people go wrong. They try to force feed their way bigger. I remember during one of my biggest bulks, I was eating 500 to 600 grams of carbs a day, training like an animal, and one of the gym members asked another trainer if I'd stop training altogether. I looked that fluffy. That's when I realized getting too fat isn't productive. Because it's not about how much food you can shovel down, it's about how long you can stay in a controlled surplus without tipping over the edge. You don't need to be eating 5,000 calories a day or dirty bulking. What you need is a controlled surplus, around 1% of body weight gain per month. That's it. Remember, the longer you can stay in a surplus, the better your body will respond. If you keep needing to cut because you got too fat, you won't get anywhere. Muscle building needs a long, slow surplus, especially if you're skinny fat. Practically, that might mean increasing your calories by 200 to 300 a day and watching your body weight and strength trends weekly. Keep your protein around 0.8 to 1 gram per pound body weight, fats around 0.4 grams per pound body weight, and fill the remainder with carbs. Use mostly whole foods: rice, oats, potatoes, fruits, legumes, tofu, tempeh if you're plant-based, and simple plant proteins to hit your numbers. If you eat meat, fish, and dairy, then add them in accordingly. Remember, muscle building isn't a permission slip to eat crap. It's about fueling performance. If your strength isn't improving in the gym, you're not building muscle, no matter how many calories you're eating. Now, you will gain some body fat in a surplus. That's normal, so you need to set an upper limit. Otherwise, you'll become a bigger, skinny fat version of yourself. A good guideline is to stop the push around 15 to 16% body fat. That's usually when you start to smooth out. Abs fade, pumps drop, joints might ache, appetite dips, and that range will be personal to you. It's your body telling you the environment for muscle building is slipping. At that point, you've got 2 smart options. The first is to run a 4 to 8 week mini cut to resensitize your body for muscle growth and drop a few kilos. The second option is if you've been building for 2 years and you're happy with your current size, commit to a full shred and see where you land. In an ideal world, you want to stay in a productive muscle building environment for as long as possible, so you only want to use the mini cuts here sparingly where necessary. Think of building muscle like renovating a house. For months, it looks messy, chaotic, unfinished, but when the dust settles, you've built something incredible. You just have to stick through the fluffy phase. Step 3 is to reinforce, where we train for growth. Here's the reality. If you're lifting the same weights now as you were 12 months ago, you're not going to look any different. Muscle growth is built on one law, progressive overload. That means getting stronger over time in your key lifts: squats, deadlifts, presses, chin-ups, and rows, whilst keeping perfect form. You'll need a bit of trial and error early on to figure out your personal favorites, but the basics always works. To make progressive overload work, a great rule of thumb is as follows. Repeat your best sessions before moving up. Dominate the weight, make it feel smoother, more controlled, and you'll find you'll end up with less joint issues or injuries, which a lot of skinny fat guys struggle with. And then be diligent with recording your top sets, logging your sessions, and adding either a rep or a small load every few weeks. That's how you build strength, and with it, the muscle you want. Where most skinny fat lifters go wrong is program hopping. They switch workouts every 4 weeks chasing novelty. But the first 4 to 6 weeks of any program are mostly neurological adaptation, which means your body is learning the movement, not growing new muscle. Every time you restart and start a new program, you reset that process. I used to have what I call training ADD. I'd switch programs every few weeks. 5 sets of 5 1 month, Russian Smolov squat cycle the next, then some random bodybuilding split, and I was obsessed with manipulating all the tiny details: tempo, protein grams, the exact rep speed, so I was always changing things on a weekly basis, but I wasn't getting anywhere. Once I learned to stick to one plan for 12 to 16 weeks, sometimes more, and just focus on progressive overload, everything changed. So pick a proven program, commit to it for the long term, and milk it dry before changing anything. Step 4, recovery, where we manage stress, sleep, and lifestyle. Here's the truth few people talk about. You don't grow in the gym, you grow when you recover. That means sleeping 7 to 8 hours a night, drinking enough water, managing stress, and not overdoing your activity. Most skinny fat guys, and I include myself in this, are naturally wired, fidgety, anxious, and stressed, which keeps cortisol high and muscle building low. The fix is to chill out. Walk, breathe, meditate, whatever works for you, and stop turning every workout into a war. Your muscles grow when your nervous system is calm enough to let it. And where I see skinny fat guys wrong is hammering caffeine and pre-workouts, whereas their natural wiring means they actually need a bit more chill than amp. Step 5 is to rewire your identity and commit to a long-term build. If you're coming from a skinny fat background, your genetics probably aren't geared towards easy muscle gain. It took me years to realize this harsh truth. But that's okay, you just need more time. So you want to think in 2 to 3 year blocks. You want to get lean first, then you want to build for 2 to 3 years, you want to tidy up, and then you want to repeat the cycle, tidy up. Then when you do your final tidy up and commit to a full shred, you'll end up at your dream physique right here. So after 5 to 7 years of consistent training and eating, your body and identity will be unrecognizable. You'll go from skinny fat over here to skinny lean to muscular, shredded, and in the dream physique that you've always wanted. Looking back, I'm glad I stayed patient. I started out at 58 kilos or 125 pounds, skinny fat, moves in a pot belly here. After multiple failed attempts of knowing what to do, I finally realized that I needed to get lean first, which is what I did. And then I committed to about 3 to 4 cycles of 2 to 3 years at a time, where I'd build, get as strong as possible. I would then do a tidy up or a full cut, depending on whether I was competing in bodybuilding, commit to another growth period, tidy up, cut down, commit to a final bulk period. And then what ends up happening here is the best bit, and this is where you end up at your dream physique. You feel good, you look good, and you're performing at your best. And that skinny fat version of yourself all the way back here is history. Because ultimately, this isn't just about muscle or fat, it's about becoming someone different. Someone who eats, trains, and lives like the person they want to become. Ask yourself 2 questions at the start of this journey. Why am I doing this? And what's the physique I want to build in the future? And keep those front of mind, because when life gets in the way and distractions appear, and they will, these 2 anchors will keep you moving forward. And if you want a full step-by-step plan to fix your skinny fat physique, including the exact training, nutrition, and lifestyle systems that I use, click the first link in the description. I hope you find this valuable, and I'll see you on the next one.